Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. I woke up this morning to find out about a horrific situation in my country, the United States of America. In Dallas, Texas, there was a peaceful protest going on regarding Black Lives Matter. It's a movement in my country that Black people are feeling the need to express to the rest of the country that their lives matter, because they feel that they are being persecuted and chased and unfairly treated by the police. And from what the statistics show, that is true. I've listened to many sources and heard many people. I get a lot of different numbers of percentages of how many white people are shot by cops and how many Black people are shot by cops, and all I know is that there's a problem. There's a problem, and it's real. It's racism. And I also hear a lot of reasons, different reasons of why it's gotten so bad. Some say because we have a Black president now, and it's torn a thin skin off a wound that was never healed in this country. And that wound is racism, and living in a country that Black people used to be owned by white people. I can't imagine being a Black person and being treated in the year 2016 any different than any other individual, and having to live with that as my history in my own country, that if I look far back enough in my family, I will probably find a relative that was a slave, or very likely. I don't know what the percentage of that would be. Perhaps everyone, perhaps not. When I say everyone, all African Americans. So now we have this problem that's come to the head. And again, the reason I gave of the president was one reason of many, many that I heard. Quite frankly, I don't care about the reason. I care about the solution. And this morning I found out through the news that 5 police officers that were guarding a peaceful protest by African Americans were killed. 5 white police officers were killed by an African American. I don't know what to say about this, because I'm not an African American, like I said, that has to live with systemic, septic racism. By septic is when you have an infection in your body and it's everywhere. And that's the way racism is. And racism, whether it's for African Americans, for Muslims, for people who are disabled. I'm disabled from the shoulders down for 22 years. And when I got injured, boom, I was looked at totally different by some people in society. And they talk to me, treat me like I'm stupid just because I'm paralyzed. And I want to give them a proverbial kick in the ass. I would if I could, if my leg wasn't paralyzed. So I do it in my brain. I haven't been this sad for my country since 9/11. And I was thinking about 9/11 this morning. And I thought, I remember President Bush, George W. Bush, standing on the back of a truck at the 9/11 site where the towers fell. And I was never, quite frankly, a George Bush supporter, a fan of his. But my president had a heck of a job of making us feel safe, and in a time where nobody felt safe. It didn't matter if you were black or white, or what religion you were, or if you were disabled, or if you were rich or you were poor. Everything I just mentioned, every type of person I just mentioned were killed during 9/11, whether they were in the towers or whether they were first responders. Each of those types of groups of people, black, white, Muslim, disabled, young, old, children, and go on, were killed senselessly. But it was from someone across the pond. It was from someone across the ocean, not in our own country. And now, with this racism being so raw, I don't know all the answers. I don't know many answers. But I know two things. We're Americans. We need to stand up and help each other. We can't leave it up to the president, whether you like him or not. We can't leave it up to the government, whether you are supporters of who's in the government or not. We need to do it ourselves. The government is such a small part of America. We, the people, are America. And what I also know is that somewhere out there, there is someone thinking of doing the same thing that the shooter in Dallas, Texas did yesterday. And to that person, or more than one person's, I'm sure, wherever you are, whoever you are, if you're African American, I can only imagine how angry you are, how angry you. I can only try to put myself in your shoes, and I am trying. But taking a gun and killing more people will not make this problem better. It will only make it worse. So if you're angry, talk to someone. Say you're angry. Reach out. There are people who care. There are people next to you, whether they're white or black or Muslim or Jewish or Catholic, or it doesn't matter. They're American first. They're your brother or your sister because they're American. So please, if you are a shooter out there, someone who is thinking of being another individual who is going to do something like that happened yesterday, or a police officer who is thinking of black people as less and more, I don't know the word, more, whatever is making the amount of black people being killed by police officers higher than the amount of white people. We can't ignore that. It's real. Think twice. Think twice before you pull that trigger. Because, again, they're your fellow American, and no one supports the first responders more than I. My brother is a captain of FDNY. He runs into burning buildings when everybody else is running the hell out. Police show up to protect people when everybody else is running away from the situation. They are running in. So it's not that I don't respect and love and care about the first responders. But again, there is a problem with black people getting killed too much by police officers. So please, whatever type of rage you have, take it out in another way than pointing a gun at someone and pulling the trigger. Regardless if you're law enforcement or an individual out there who's angry and just thinks killing people is the way to express how they feel. Thank you for listening. And I hope that you're praying for peace and looking at your fellow human being, your fellow American, with some respect and love, not just tolerance. Tolerance is not enough. It's respect and love. Thank you for listening, and I wish you a great day.